Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at Unit 3, Lesson 4, writing equations in slope-intercept form. Please remember to pause or rewind the video as needed. Let's begin. Recall that slope-intercept form of a line has the following look. Y equals m times x plus b, where m is your slope, and your slope is a ratio of rise over run. That means change in y, going up or down, over change in x. The little triangle is the Greek letter delta, and it means change. So change in y or change in x. Okay, now we can also calculate that by going y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if we're given two coordinate points, this is exactly the way we're going to find the slope. Question 1. Each of the following lines has a slope and y-intercept that can be determined by examining the graph. For each, state the slope, the y-intercept, then write the equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so let's figure out the slope. Now, to figure out the slope, find two places where the graph intersects the graph paper. So right here, we can see that point, and then possibly right up here, or even down here, or down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and over from one point to another. So let's say I go from here to here. That means I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes and over 1, 2, 3 boxes. My rise is 4. My run is 3. Therefore, my slope is 4 over 3. Okay, my y-intercept is 2. So putting that together, I get y equals 4/3 x plus 2. Okay, now in this graph, it has a negative slope because the graph is going downward instead of upward. We can see the y-intercept is -1. And if I go from that point, let's say, to another point where it's crossing the graph paper, I have to go down 1. That's a rise of -1, and over 3. That's a run of 3, meaning I have a slope of -1/3. My equation would be y equals -1/3 x minus 1. Number 2, each of the following has a slope that can be determined from the y-intercept. Use another point on the line to solve for the exact y-intercept. Then state the equation of the line. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the y-intercept by doing the following. So I'm going to pick one of these 2 points that are here. Okay, and I could even pick this point or even this point if I wanted to, but I'm going to use the point that they give us. So I'm going to choose this point here, which is over 1 up 2, this point of 1, 2. That's my xy coordinate pair. Okay, so now the slope for this would be up 1, 2, 3, rise of 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4, rise of 4. So my slope is going to be 3/4. Okay, that's easy. Now, my y-intercept, here's how I'm going to find it. So I'm going to take my equation, y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to use one of those 2 points. I'm going to use this point that I originally here. I'm going to use the point 1, 2, where x equals 1 and y equals 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in 2 for y. I'm going to plug in 1 for x, and I'm going to plug in 3/4 for m, and then I'm going to solve for b. Okay, so it'll look like 2, which is y, equals m, that's 3/4, times x, which is 1, plus b. Okay, now 1 times 3/4 is 3/4, so 2 equals 3/4 plus b. I'm going to rewrite 2 as a fraction with a denominator of 4. That way I can actually subtract those fractions. So I'm going to rewrite this as 8/4. So 2 is now become 8/4 equals 3/4 plus b. Now in order to get b by itself, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3/4 both sides. And I get b is equal to 8/4 minus 3/4 is 5/4, right? Or 1 1/4. Okay, so what's our equation? Y equals mx plus b form. So y equals m, your slope, 3/4, x plus 5/4. Or instead of 5/4, you could write 1 1/4. Either one is fine. I'm going to keep it as an improper fraction. Okay, in part 2b, we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have a rise of -6 and a run of 1, 2, 3, 4. So -6. I said -4, didn't I? +4, sorry. Because you're going to the right. So our slope is -6/4, which when you reduce this, 2 goes into 6 3 times, 2 goes into 4 2 times. So -3/2 is our slope. So I'm going to pick a point. I guess I'm going to choose this point here, which would be 1, -1. So y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to use 1, -1. So -1, that's my y, equals m, my slope, that's -3/2, times my x, which is 1, plus b. I'm going to go ahead and add. If I multiply that, I get 3/2. So I'm going to go ahead and add 3/2 to both sides. Okay, and then I'm going to rewrite this as a fraction with a denominator of 2, so I could actually subtract those. So I get -2/2 plus the 3/2 that I added equals b. Adding those together, b is equal to +1/2 or +1/2. Therefore, y equals -3/2 x plus 1/2. Okay, now in question 3, we need to first find the slope. Then we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to choose one of these 2 points to find the y-intercept, and then finally write the equation of the line. Okay, so this is going to be the process. A, find slope. B, plug into y equals mx plus b and solve for b. And C is going to be to write the equation. Okay, so this is x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, and our equation for slope, if you recall, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so let's find the slope first. Okay, we're going to go y2 minus y1, so it's 22 minus 7 over x2 minus x1, that's 4 minus 1. 22 minus 7 is 15 over 3, which is 5. Okay, so we got our slope. Okay, now I'm going to use my slope in one of those 2 points. I'm just going to take the smaller point right there. So y equals mx plus b. We're going to use 1, 7, and this becomes 7 equals m, that's 5, times x, that's 1, plus b. Well, that's 5. So we get 7 equals 5 plus b. Subtract 5 both sides, b equals 2. Your equation would be y equals 5x plus 2. Okay, again, first find the slope. y2, that's 3, so x1, y1, x2, y2. So 3 minus 13 over x2, which is 2 minus x1, a negative 2. Well, 3 minus 13 is negative 10 over 2 minus 2 is positive 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. That slope would reduce to negative 5 halves. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one this time. So y equals mx plus b. I'm going to use 2, 3 as my xy. And so I'm going to go 3 equals my slope, 5 halves, times 2x plus b. Well, this is nice because 10 divided by 2 is 5 plus b, and that's equals to 3. Subtract 5, and b is equal to negative 2. So y equals my slope, negative 5 halves, x minus 2. Okay, again, find your slope first. x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to go y2 minus y1, 0 minus 6. Over 10 minus 4. Well, 0 minus 6 is negative 6. 10 minus 4 is 6. Divide those, we get a slope of negative 1. I'm going to go ahead and choose this here. And so y equals mx plus b. I'm going to use 4, 6 as my xy coordinate pair. So 6 equals my slope, negative 1, times my x, 4 plus b. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4, plus your b, equals 6. Go ahead and add the 4 to solve for b, and b equals 10. Putting it together, we have y equals negative 1x plus 10. Typically, that's just written as negative x plus 10. We don't typically write the negative 1. Part D. Okay, again, x1, y1, x2, y2. We're going to go y2, that's 2 minus negative 10, over 16 minus 0. So 2 minus a minus 10 is 2 plus 10, or 12, over 16. Now, the number 4 goes into both of this evenly and reduces this. 4 goes into 12 3 times, 4 goes into 16 4 times. That reduces to a slope of 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and use this one here this time. So y equals mx plus b. I'm going to use 0, negative 10 as my xy. So negative 10 is my y, equals my slope, 3/4, times my x, 0. This is going to be really nice. That cancels, meaning my y-intercept is negative 10. Y equals 3/4 x minus 10. Okay, so to finish this off, number 4, application. A steady snowfall is coming down outside. Prestel decides to measure the depth of snow on the ground. After 4 hours, the snow is at a depth of 9 inches. After 8 hours, it's at a depth of 14 inches. Express the the information in the problem as two coordinate pairs, h and d, where h is the number of hours and depth is the snow. Okay, well, after 4 hours, 9 inches. So that would be 4 comma 9 hours in depth. And the second one would be 8 hours, 14 inches. Okay, so now part B, let's go ahead and find the slope. Okay, and I'm going to be going x1, y1, x2, y2. All right, so to fill this out, we're going to go y2 minus y1, 14 minus 9. Okay, and I'm going to actually write the units on here. It'll help us figure this out. So 14 inches minus 9 inches over 8 hours minus 4 hours. Okay, so if we subtract this, we get 5 inches in 4 hours, or 1 1/4 inches per hour. So the units are inches. That's the unit. Inches per hour. Okay, find the equation of a line that passes through d equals mh plus b, where this is normally y equals mx plus b, right? But x is h and y is d. So pick a point. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the first one. So I'm going to go 9 equals my slope, 5/4, times h, which is my 4, plus b. Got to find b first. 20 divided by 4 is 5, plus b equals 9, subtract 5, and b equals 4. Therefore, y equals 5/4 x plus 4 would be the equation of my line. And, oh, sorry, I should write it properly. Instead of x and y, I should write it as y was d and x was h. So that really should be the proper way to write it in this context. And then what was the depth of this? What was the depth of the snow began after h equals 0? Okay, well, so h equals 0. I plug in depth equals 5/4 times 0 plus 4. And you can see that the depth was only 4 inches. Okay, but after h equals 12 hours, d equals 5/4 times 12 plus 4. Okay, so we have 60. 5 times 12 is 60. Divided by 4 is 15. So we have 15 plus 4 equals the distance. That would be 19 inches. Okay, I hope you found this tutorial to be helpful. Thank you, and see you next time.